Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we have a special guest. Today we have a Norn Emissary. This was a gift from my girlfriend. She's a big supporter of the channel, so I'm very thankful because I really wanted to have this miniature because it's an amazing, huge Tyranid monster and of course I love it. Of course this miniature can also be assembled as the Norn Assimilator, but in my case I'm going to do the Norn Emissary because I like it a little bit more, so this is the one that I will go for. And this video I would like to divide it in three parts. So first of all I will do an unboxing of the miniature by itself, then I would like to assemble it, and in the end I will do a size comparison, especially with other Tyranids from the Leviathan box and some other miniatures to see clearly the size of the miniature. So let's start with the video. Okay, so here we have the box of the Norn Emissary, and as you can see it's quite big. Here we can compare it with a combat patrol and they are almost the same size, except because this one is much thinner than this one, because of course here there are more screws than here, which makes sense. And when we open the box, this is what we are going to find. Of course, as usual, we have the instructions. That I'm curious about something. Okay, yes, of course we can have like an Norn Emissary or a Norn Assimilator. And okay, see, I was curious about this because I noticed that the Norn Assimilator is looking into that direction and the Norn Emissary is looking into this direction. So I was curious about how they did that, and I can see that they have like different torso piece here that will make the miniature look into one direction or the other, which is quite nice and interesting. I didn't know that they have like different tails, and aside from that, what we already know, that the heads are different and they have different arms, but aside from that they are quite similar because they have like a lot of common things. And the instructions, they look quite thick actually, but of course they are following the similar pattern that we have seen in the past. Interesting. Oh, and of course we have the profiles in the back, which is quite interesting. It's funny that they put like the brains here as the ranged weapon. It's quite fun. But let's take a look at the sprues now, because that's the most interesting part. Okay, here it seems that we have the legs of the miniature. They are big legs. That's good. We have the tail divided in two pieces. Yes, two pieces to put together. And then we have the other part of the tail that this is like a single piece. Here we have what we mentioned earlier, the different torsos for them, depending on which model we want to assemble. And here we have the arms with the cute hands of the Norn Emissary, sorry. And it seems like this is part of the face of the Norn Emissary. Yes, quite interesting. I guess that it's going to be divided in a lot of different pieces, which is going to be weird. And I don't know what the other things are, to be honest. Small pieces of the Tyranid monster. And with this one, okay, it's quite noticeable, the huge base of the miniature. It's quite big. And it's quite interesting because we saw like half of the face of the Norn Emissary, and now here we have like the Norn Assimilator is divided in two pieces. If we don't make this one, it's actually quite nice for scenography. Like for example, it reminds me of the Captain in Terminator armor from the Leviathan box. We can do something like that, which is quite nice. Here we have the hands of the, I don't know how to call this. This is what makes a lot of damage in the Norn Assimilator, which is quite interesting. Oh, this is also from the Norn Assimilator. And okay, this is common to both of them. And yes, it seems like the head of the Norn Emissary is divided into a lot of different pieces. Here we have the other part of the face. This is on the upper part. Here we have all the brains and things. It's quite nice. I like it. It's I like the amount of detail in the pieces. That's always quite nice, especially like in this kind of parts. Quite interesting. I really like it. It's quite nice. And of course we have 100mm base. This is going to be the base for the miniature, if we can call it miniature, because it seems that it's going to be big. So now we can start assembling this beauty. So here we have my Norn Emissary fully assembled. It looks like a perfect centerpiece for every Tyranid army. It looks great, it looks fantastic, it's full of detail and it's great. So you can see it's dancing in the base because I didn't glue it already. Because of course I want to do like a size comparison, and I think that it's going to be more honest if I don't glue the miniature to the base, because as you can see the base makes him stand out much more. And I have to say that of course all of us thought that this miniature was going to be bigger when it was first announced, but I actually don't have any complaint about the size of the miniature. I think that it looks great, it looks like a fantastic centerpiece for every Tyranid army, and right now I will show you a size comparison and you will see that it's quite, it stands out a lot and it looks big, even if it's not as big as we expected. Okay, so first of all we can compare the size of the Norn Emissary with this big star from the Leviathan box, and as you can see, without the base this one looks bigger. It's true that of course this one looks chunkier, but we can clearly see that the body of this one is bigger, and especially if we compare it with this one, yes, it's chunkier, but this one is clearly bigger. And of course I left the base in the back because we can clearly see that if we put the miniature in the base, it looks even bigger, okay? But I thought that it's going to be a little bit more honest if we compare the size of the miniatures without the extra base, of course. Even if that one is also having like a small tactical rogue, this one is much bigger. And if we compare it with the Neuro Tyrant, it's this one looks clearly much bigger, and also, of course, as usual, if we have the base, that size comparison, it's even more exaggerated, having in mind that here the Neuro Tyrant has itself a base as well that is like pushing it higher. So yes, this Norn Emissary is quite big, especially when you look at the size of things. It's much bigger, much bigger. And now if we compare it with a Termagant, Winged Tyranid Prime or Psychophage, we can clearly see that yes, this one looks bigger even without the base. It's true that the Psychophage looks quite chunky because of course it has like this huge part in the back. But of course if we put this one to the sides as well, it looks also huge. So again, it's bigger, it's much bigger, and same as before, if we put him in its base, that size comparison, it's even more enhanced because it stands out much more. That's why I really like this kind of base. It gives the miniature more personality and it makes him stand out much more, which is quite nice. And it's something that I really appreciate, because of course this is supposed to be like a centerpiece of your army, something that needs to stand out, and as we can clearly see, it stands out. And here we can compare it with a Dreadnought that without the base it's bigger, but it's true that the Dreadnought looks much chunkier, of course. But again, if we see the whole body of the Norn Emissary, it's quite huge. So yes, in the front this one looks like skinnier and more stylish, but no, it's bigger. It's bigger. We can see that it's bigger, even if of course the Dreadnoughts by themselves, they are not small. And here we have Space Marine, that this is like the most basic size comparison that we can do, and as we can see, the Norn Emissary is quite huge. Just the claw by itself, it's taller than the Space Marines, so they are already tall. And as usual, if we put it in the base, that comparison is going to be much more noticeable. It's the size here is quite different. So I'm super happy with the Norn Emissary. It looks super big. I really like it. It looks quite great and it's full of detail. I cannot wait to paint it. And of course here I have to say that every painted miniature that I showed in this video, it's I showed in my channel how I painted it, and the ones that are not painted, I will paint them eventually. So this is a good moment to remind that. And this has been my unboxing, assembling, size comparison of the Norn Emissary. I love the miniature and I cannot wait to start painting it. It looks fantastic and I love it. I really love this miniature. It looks super cool and I cannot wait to start working on it. So thank you very much for watching. And as usual, if you're still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.